Alright guys, so here's the deal. I tore up my yard. And you're probably standing there going, why would you tear up your yard? It's because my wife made me. Actually no, so we've had for years a problem with copperheads on our property. Our property was vacant for 20 years. The house was filled with snakes to the point where when they were taking apart the house, there were like snake skins were coming out of the walls, out of the ceiling, out of the attic. Snakes are something that we just have a lot of on our property. It's been a breeding ground for decades. So we're gonna eliminate the snake problem. We're gonna get rid of them. We're gonna get rid of the snakes, we're gonna have them move out. And the way you do that is you have a meticulously groomed yard. Because if there's one thing that snakes don't like, it's really short grass. And we've had a mix out here when we rebuilt our house. We just kind of had everything graded around it. We didn't plant anything, we just kind of let what naturally grew up grow back up again. So we have a mix of fescue, seeds that blow in from our fields. We had a lot of Bermuda grass. Bermuda grass is very difficult to get rid of, by the way. But we had a lot of fescue, a lot of Bermuda grass, and a lot of weeds, just lots and lots of weeds. Things that we really didn't like, and it would look really junky. Even except for like in the heat of summer when the Bermuda was real strong, it would look pretty junky. And we'd have to mow it super short so that our kids don't end up running into a copperhead. Some of you think copperheads aren't a big deal. I can tell you, I had our lawnmower just parked on the side of our house, went to go fix the blades on it, looked underneath it, and there were 2 copperheads there. I've had snakes crawling up our front door. We do have a snake issue on our property, and more so than most people probably want to know. And the copperheads, the black snakes I'm fine with. We've got some snake tongues. I pick them up, I move them, and we're done.
It's beginning to look a lot like snake season. Everywhere we go. In our farm. On our farm. Bye-bye, black snake.
But the copperheads are ones that I just don't want coming in the vicinity of where my kids are playing. The chances of getting bit by one are probably like worse than getting struck by lightning as far as, you know, the chance of actually getting bit by one. Because they are pretty seclusive, they don't like to come out where people are, and they like to stay hidden. So chances are you won't get bit by a copperhead, but if you do, you know, it's no good, right? And I also realize that there haven't been any fatalities recorded from copperhead bites, but when it comes to young kids, it can get pretty close. It can be pretty serious. So we're just gonna eliminate the problem. So what we've decided to do is put in Zenith Zoysia Grass. Zenith Zoysia Grass is a great grass. It grows in like a carpet. It basically is like creating a sod. Super Sod, the company that makes this, is actually owned by Patent Seed Company. That's who we got this seed from. They specialize in different turf grasses, and this is a special blend that they came up with that is supposed to be somewhat cool tolerant. Since we live in North Carolina, we wanted something that was somewhat cool tolerant. This grass used to be extremely popular back in the day, and then people stopped growing it because they realized that it browned over during the winter time, and they didn't like that. We don't care if our grass is browned over during the winter time. What we care the most about is that the grass is green and soft and fluffy for the kids to play on and mowed really short. So, and we like the fact that this is a very dense grass once it grows in. So knowing that this grass is a slow growing grass, it takes a while to establish. It's gonna be at least 90 days before we really start seeing anything out here once the seed is planted. It's pretty slow. I have to give it the best shot of making it, which means that we've had to eliminate anything that could compete with it where we're trying to plant it. In total, we're doing we're supposed to be doing 54,000 square feet. That's what we have seed for, but I actually cleared about just over 55,000 square feet. So we're gonna do the best we can with what we have. But we're doing about 55,000 square feet. The side yards of the house, the backyard, all the way out to our well house. I've got the side front yard torn up, and around our workshop is all torn up. So we've got a lot of space that I've torn up. And the first step to doing this has been kind of rototilling what's already been there. And I've found that with the rototiller, the first pass is always the hardest because you're just going right into, you know, some solid turf that's been there for a while. But on the, you know, if you go over it once, right before it rains, and you let the rain kind of soak in, that rototiller has made a bunch of dents and holes in the ground. When it rains, it's going to soak into the soil a little better. I know that sounds, you know, kind of backwards from what you've heard about no-till, but it actually does. It helps soften up the soil a lot. And so I would go over it once and not get too frustrated about it, and then wait just before it rains, and then go over it again right after it's done raining, and you'll get the ground to really start tearing up. And I've done that several times now. I've gone over, the last time I went over this, it was right after it rained, and you can see the large chunks that it's pulled up out of the ground. And so my next step that I'm gonna do here is I'm actually going to come back over this again with the rototiller now that it's dry. We've got a period of time now where it's gonna be really hot and dry and sunny, and everything here is just gonna, you know, turn to dust. And that's what I want, because in order to keep this mowed at about 1 inch high, I really have a lot of leveling to do. If you look out over there, you can see that we've got a lot of dips and troughs and holes and all sorts of fun stuff, rocks going on. So my goal right now is to break up as much of this as I can into dust, because that's gonna help me. I mean, obviously you can see the dust is flying everywhere. It's gonna put some carbon out there, but it's also gonna, you know, at least put some particles back down into the dirt. And then I'm gonna run a landscape rake across the entire thing, and we've got a big divot down there where water always collects. So anything excess, I'm gonna scrape towards that divot to help smooth it out a little bit, give us a little bit of a better drainage situation so it doesn't get all smelly and nasty after big rainstorms and stuff. So I'm gonna scrape all of this in that direction, and hopefully, you know, we'll pull some rocks in there. Any big rocks I'll pull out for landscaping, but that's pretty much my plan right now, is to just scrape it all. And then I've got a box blade. I'm gonna take the box blade and try and smooth this out. This area right here is kind of the only area that we really care about being super smooth. We want it to be almost like a, you know, you could play soccer on it smooth. I don't have any pointers on box blades yet, so hopefully by the time I'm done with this, I'll have some pointers for you like I did on the rototiller. But that's kind of the plan and where I'm at this particular stage in the project. I still need to get some lime. After I get everything done, I'm gonna have to lime all of my soil. I think we came out a little low for Zoysia grass. You want to be right around a 6 pH or 6 to 7 pH, I believe. I will double check that for you guys before we put the lime down and give you the exact numbers. So we had a soil test done, and then we talked with Supersod and the Patent Seed Company about, you know, what we should do to remedy our soil, make it the best possible chance for the grass to survive. And then we may, on top of that lime, come back with just like a very basic starter fertilizer to help get things underway. I'm gonna have to set up different watering systems to really, because water for us is free. We're on a well. It's all of our water. So I can put as much water on this ground as I need to really get this grass to establish. So I think that we're doing the right thing. We're eliminating the competition. We're doing everything we can for the soil. And then we're gonna water the heck out of it so it has time to establish. So stay tuned for all the videos in the series. When I'm done, I'll do kind of a more complete video, and I'll know more of what was done right and which was done wrong. And I'll put it together as kind of like a complete, here's how you can do this on your own. But you can grow a you know, sod on your own land. It just needs to be done correctly. And with something like Zoysia that takes a very long time to establish itself, doing something like this by eliminating the competition is ideal. I think it's going to do great. I think it's going to turn our little homestead here into a golf course, if you ask me. But it's nice when you live on a farm and you've got so much wildlife around you. One of the best ways to manage your relationship with wildlife is to create areas for yourself and then leave as much as you can for the wildlife. We're only taking 55,000 square feet. That's a little over an acre, maybe an acre and a quarter of land around our house, to turn it into kind of like a play zone, a fun zone, a place where we can go out and walk around barefoot and enjoy ourselves and not have to worry about snakes and all the other types of critters that like to come up in here. And it will also help, just give us a buffer from everything else we have going on the farm. So I'm excited about this project. I'm excited to see how it turns out. If you are starting something like this, I'm a month behind where I'd like to be. I would have liked to have this seed in the ground May 15th. And I'm running right now to have it in the ground June 20th. The big thing that you have to keep in mind is that it takes 90 days to establish, and the grass needs time to establish and become strong before it starts getting cold and the grass starts going dormant again. And if it doesn't have enough food stored in its roots to go into the wintertime, some of it could die off. So we're gonna do everything in our power to help this grass establish itself quickly and eliminate any competition.